So why is ethics important? And it really it comes down to the fact that we are doing business with people and we need to make decisions um, fair and equitably and practice those good ethical decision making. And so we're going to talk a little bit about our QEP. But first, that ethics is acting ethically is going to build trust within our organizations. It's also going to build integrity, which means doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. So ultimately, practicing good ethical decision making can help our team members make better decisions to provide better service for our guests. And then if people assume that our business is practicing good ethics, then that will ultimately then encourage them to return to our business over and over again, to recommend our business to their friends and family, which then can lead to higher profits and just overall a better image of our company in the community. So at St. Philip's College, we have what's called a Quality Enhancement Plan, a QEP. And right now, our QEP is all about ethical decision making. It seems like almost every day there's something in the news about some CEO or some business that's making a poor decision that affects their brand image, that might be even a legal situation. And so ultimately we can stop and look at the decisions that were made that led up to that end result. And somewhere along the line, there was an unethical decision that was made. And so let's look at the ethical decision-making process. We've outlined it into 4 steps. So the first step is to stop and determine the facts. Then you're going to identify options. Consider the consequences for each option. Now, consequences, examples are positive and negative. I think consequences has kind of this bad connotation, this bad association to it, but consequences can be good as well. They can be positive consequences. So you're going to consider the consequences for each of those different options and then make an ethical decision. Now, this is kind of a long, drawn-out process to get you to start thinking about the steps, but ultimately when this happens, the more and more we go through these steps, the more it becomes second nature and you can make these decisions a lot faster. Okay, so stop and think to determine the facts. And now with this step, you want to remove emotion from the situation and you want to look at specifically the facts of what is going on, okay? Not about what you think or how you think about what's going on, but what specifically is happening. So after you've watched this video, you'll have an opportunity to read a case study and answer some questions. And so I want you to start thinking about these steps, and you're going to work through these 4 steps in that assignment. So identifying the options is a really important step. And in this process where you're working through this 4-step process, I want you to identify all the options, okay? Even if you know off the top of your head it's a bad decision, then it's okay. Go ahead and list it, because then you can list the negative consequence is related to that option. When you're considering your consequences for yourself and others, you want to have, for every option that you've identified, you want to have either a positive or negative consequence for that specific option. And that's going to help guide you in your thought process of making your ethical decision. And so obviously the ones that have negative connotations, you can cross those options off the list. And those ones that have positive connotation consequences, you can consider them as a viable option. And then lastly, you're going to make that ethical choice and take appropriate action. So you're going to make the ethical choice based on the options you've considered that have positive consequences, and then you're going to put your plan of action into place. And so now what I'd like you to do is to move on to the next page, and you'll click the link for the case study and read that short case study, and then use the document, the template provided, and identify each of these 4 steps and work through this process, and then answer the 2 questions that follow the case study.